For my own interests, I just went through and listened to possibly all of the Owlman shares that I am aware of. He has written into more than one YouTube channel offering his insights after having years of interactions with Sasquatch. I personally used some of his suggestions, and I believe they helped me greatly. I decided to compile a bunch of his suggestions in this video for myself, and hopefully some others will find this useful. In the various videos where his writings are read, he also offers all kinds of thoughts, reasons, insights about the reasoning behind these suggestions, along with what he has come to learn and understand about the Sabe people directly from the Sabe people. I understand that the word Sabe is an Ojibwe word for Sasquatch. Please correct me if that is not accurate. Some points may be repetitive or not really in order, as I extracted his insights from a number of videos. Perhaps some repetition is good. Okay, here is what I have compiled from listening to a couple hours of shares from the Owlman. Side notes. The Owlman for himself realized they are not animals one night when his friend called to them like you would a dog, whistling and all to prove a point, and they literally heard the Sabe leave in disgust, even with vocal sounds like that of a human in disgust. He also states that activity would cease when he brought out cameras, etc., and vice versa. From the Owlman. They are a lot more like us than most people realize. They are not monsters. I know the critics are going to call most of this delusional. I know what I know. If you know there is something lurking around your property, they have always been there. Do not lose your sense of peace over this. If you experience them on your property, it is best to take the men out to meet them, ideally at night. If you suspect one is nearby, go inside and get your family and bring them all outside. Take the family dog out too. Theirs is a patriarchal culture. As the man, husband, or father, you step forward and tell your family to just be quiet and listen. Address them formally, as if you were just meeting a new neighbor for the first time. As the man of the household, hold out your right hand, palm facing up, with your head tilted towards the ground. You can have the whole family do this at the same time, but it is not necessary. Then address them with this. Greetings. My name is, say your name, tell the Sabe this is your family. Then introduce each family member, even grandparents if you have to. Bring your wife forward and state her name. Introduce your wife as your woman. They don't use the term wife. Side note, I have also been told that they refer to a wife or husband as a mate, and as a man when introducing a woman, have her on your left side. Back to the Owlman's suggestions. Bring each child forward and do the same. Don't play tough guy. Pretend you are a neighbor, introducing your family to new neighbors. Remember, we think nothing of introducing ourselves to new neighbors, not knowing a thing about them. We have no idea what kind of people they are, but we treat them with respect and dignity despite that. We assume they are decent people because they are human. Do not go out with a gun. Swallow back the fear. State your intentions in simple terms. Perhaps, this is my family and I want them to be safe. We do not want you to be afraid, and we do not want to be afraid of you. It is important to use the word afraid. They do not understand words such as scared, frightened, etc. Set boundaries. Keep it simple. Don't stay out there a long time trying to get the point across. They seem to have a photographic memory and recognize faces and remember names. You don't have to be friends, but you have to be neighbors. It is better to get along with your neighbors. Otherwise, they can make your life miserable. They also get anxious rather quickly. Just tell your kids these beings are real, and their intentions are not to hurt, kill, or eat you. They are just curious because our children are very much like theirs, and often children don't react like adults. Try to convey to your children that despite how they look, they are not much different than us. Then state your intentions and lay down ground rules. Keep all the words simple. Here's an example. This is my family. They are afraid of you, but I am not. We want to live in peace with you. We will not make you afraid of us, and we wish you no harm. We will not show you to our own people. We will keep your home safe. We just ask that you leave our animals alone, our hut alone, and our garden alone. They call homes huts. You can now lower your arm and raise your head. Tell them, peace and blessings to you from the great creator, and then just walk back to your home. In the videos, Owlman explains the need for some specific words to be used and some more detail surrounding the reasoning, etc. Continuing from the Owlman, remember they are not animals, and do not address them or treat them as such. They hate that. If the Sabe like you, they may leave gifts. Any dead animal like a rabbit, raccoon, deer, is meant as a food gift. It is their way of being neighborly. The animal should not be torn to pieces. It is just dead. It is like how you would bring a cake or something to a new neighbor. I tell people who have a hard time with them around their home, place a wild turkey feather under a white stone or a rock, on a stump or off the ground where they will find it. They will often leave something in return. Do not refuse a gift, even if it is a dead animal. Just take it and say thank you. As crazy as it is, you don't want to offend them. I've said before, you don't have to be friends, but you have to be neighborly. Strive to be neighborly. If your children may have an encounter, come up with a plan best suited for you. It's okay to be scared. It is best to have the children speak out loud to them in some fashion and just back away. They do not have to run. If you have guns, tell them the guns are for protection from other animals. Also teach the children not to talk to anyone outside the family about it. In one instance, the Owlman mentioned an experience around his house. He said at one point, he said he had a gift for the Sabe and played a flute. And at the conclusion of the interaction, he said to the Sabe, go in peace, and may the great creator go with you. Back to the Owlman. The overall message here is for people dealing with them around their home. When you hear them outside, go outside and speak to them, speak slowly, and use simple words. Do not speak in fear or anger. You can be stern. Tell them you don't want your children to be afraid. You don't want the dogs, chickens, livestock, etc. killed or harmed, or the roof or hut, house, damaged. Whatever you need to feel secure about, tell them. I always tell people they are like dealing with children with autism, so approach them like that. You could always be dealing with a criminal element. Try reaching out to them in a respectful manner and see how it goes from there. In all my dealings with them, I have found the vast majority of them to be reasonable. If someone can't deal with this, go ahead and buy cameras and motion sensor lights. If you do this, tell them about it and why you are doing that. Many struggle with fear when they show up at your home, but this is your home. Just let them know that this space is yours and their home is theirs. It is better to work with a neighbor than to be at war with them. The behaviors of pounding on walls, peeking through windows, turning doorknobs, things that so many people consider to be terrorizing, are often younger ones goofing around, kinda like humans pulling pranks and practical jokes. Like it or not, once you are on their radar, you can't escape them, but that doesn't mean you have to live your life in fear of them. Suggestions for those who want nothing to do with them while out in nature, etc. Let them know you know they are there. Look at the spot where you think one is. You want to face them. Do not cower in fear. You may not be face to face, but you are addressing them in a respectful way. Extend your right hand, palm facing up, and say out loud, greetings, my name is, insert name. I know you're here. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to make you afraid. I do not want to be afraid of you. I am just going fishing, hiking, or whatever you're doing. If you have a gun on you, tell them what the gun is for and what you intend to use the gun on. Then tell them if they want you to leave, break a branch, push over a tree, make some noise. Then wait a few minutes. No matter what happens, if you continue on or leave, tell them thank you and blessings to you from the great creator. It is important to say great creator. That will get their attention. If you feel comfortable enough to go on, expect at least one to follow you now, out of curiosity, because you just did something no other human has towards them. If all this freaks you out, just leave. Back to fishing. Leave a fish on the bank for them and say thank you. If you hunt and make a kill, say thank you, leave them the organ meat, and let them know that. This isn't paying tribute to them. It is treating them as people, not as animals. Show them the best of humanity and not the stereotype they see of us. I share these as suggestions of one way you could interact with Sabe, and this is by no means to be considered gospel. I don't expect anyone to believe this. I wouldn't either if some stranger just threw this out there. I just ask you to remember this, in case you need it one day. Then you can decide if it has any validity. I would just like to see people get over their fears and get back to what they love for the outdoors, which was destroyed because they discovered that the world is not what they had been led to believe.